Everyone knows that Lil Peep changed his hairstyle frequently. But how frequently? And how many times did Lil Peep change his hairstyle? What did it look like? Well, in this video, we will be looking at all of the known hairstyles of Lil Peep. So let's dive into it. Now this is going to be a pretty rough timeline here, but I will try my best. And in order to begin, we first have to dive back pretty far, so prepare yourself. Gus, more commonly known as Lil Peep, was born on November 1st, 1996. This is also where the journey of his hair begins. So Peep, like most babies, started out pretty much bald, but of course his hair grew out a little bit. I couldn't really find too much from around the age of 1 to maybe 3. Like I mentioned, this is a rough timeline, so you may have to use a bit of your imagination. Eventually, Peep would get this baby hair cut off, and around the age of 3 or 4 he would look like this. This hair would not last long though, as it would grow pretty fast, which brings us to this hair of Lil Peep. He seemed to go back and forth between these two styles for a year or so before I was able to find photos of Peep slightly older with the same style of hair, pictured here. So he kept this going for a while. I mean, it was pretty simple so far. We haven't seen anything out of the ordinary, really. But then, of course, things started to change for young Gus. He started to be interested in skateboarding, and the style of clothing he wanted to wear has changed. Suddenly, little Gus had grown his hair out, and it got pretty long at some points. He kept this longer hair for a bit, maybe 2 years or so. Again, I don't have the exact dates of when he was at the barber, but it must have been a decent amount of time because by the time Peep had his long hair cut off, the natural blonde in his hair had mostly faded away. This left Peep with short, light, brownish hair, or whatever you would call this color here. There's plenty of photos with Peep having this hair. He did seem to have this for a while when he was probably 7 or 8. And now finally, our first glimpse of what was to come. Peep had dyed his hair bleach blonde around the age of 9 or 10, giving us pictures like these. The timeline here does get a little foggy, but from what I could find, he seemed to have yet again shaved this hair off, leaving him with a buzz cut. Sometime around 2012, maybe 2011. This dark hair would grow out a bit, even getting to the point of this photo here, where he now has a mohawk. Also looks like he may have dyed his hair black. The mohawk would later grow out on the sides, leaving Peep with somewhat of a mullet. I'm not too sure exactly what this is here. This led to him shaving his head again, this time with a pink mohawk, and this may have been the first time that the pink hair was introduced with Lil Peep. He let this hair grow out a lot during the years of perhaps 2013. This hair would later grow longer, and this would finally bring us to the time that he got his first face tattoo. Peep was either 17 or 18 at this time. This was right after he graduated high school, getting the face tattoo showing his commitment to avoiding an ordinary life. He didn't have this long blonde hair with the face tattoo for a long time. Around 2015, Peep would yet again shave his head and let it grow out a little bit before releasing his EP Feels. But not long after this, once again, he would shave his head, along with releasing music videos like the one for Come Around from his new EP titled Vertigo. This was also when he was joining the group Schema Posse, collaborating with artists like Ghostmane. Once this shaved hair was long enough to dye, that's exactly what Peep did. And of course, his choice of color this time? Dark pink. This was a breakout moment for Peep in his life with the release of Lil Peep Part 1. As time went on and this dark pink faded out, it left just a little bit of pink on the top of his hair there. This was at the time of the white tee and gym class music videos. Then while he still had this hairstyle, he decided to get the now iconic Crybaby tattoo. He would actually re-dye his hair again right after getting the Crybaby tattoo, this time a much lighter shade of pink. After having this medium length hair for a while, once it was at this length here, he dropped the Hellboy album in 2016, and this is probably the most iconic time for Peep. This is when he really started to blow up. Now his next hairstyle directly after this one is what I would like to call his Aaron Carter phase. This hairstyle is what he had in the music video for Girls with Horsehead. After the blonde was fading out from the iconic blonde hairstyle, he now suddenly dyed his hair jet black. This was a big change to previous hairstyles he had, but in a way, this also suited him and his personality very well. And then, early 2017, Peep split his hair down the middle, leaving one side black and the other side pink. Now this is where it does get confusing, because in this short amount of time, Peep had actually had a few hairstyles and colors. He of course had his hair half blonde and half black for a long time, but the dates here kinda get mixed up easily, as he also had his purple and pink hair around this time. Perhaps when the pink side was starting to fade, he then added a bit of blue to the pink, making it appear half purple, half black. This is how we got the pigtails in the music video for Ben's truck and pictures like these. With this hairstyle, he also had a undercut, and it was pretty unique to say the least. This brings us to the final time Peep had shaved his head. Right after this, he would release the music video for No Respect, the freestyle. And not long after, we would end up with the short blonde mohawk, which he actually kept for a bit while it grew out actually. He would touch it up frequently, shaving the sides, and eventually dye the mohawk a deep pink, like we seen with the younger Peep. This pink would end up fading away, and Peep would lastly dye his hair a bleach blonde, again shaving the sides, giving himself a mohawk. This almost white blonde would slowly start showing the dark roots of his hair, and this would be the last hairstyle, unfortunately. And this would conclude all the hairstyles of Lil Peep that I'm aware of. Yet again, this was just a rough timeline, and I'm sure I'm missing more than a few, so feel free to comment down below if I missed any. And also let us know your favorite hairstyle that Lil Peep had. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next dive.